everybody, today we are making a frontal illusion wig. I'm using this coily hair and I'm making this for a client. You're going to see the whole process, how I bleach the knots and everything. So let's get started. Usual, I'll start by showing you the materials. I'm using a thread, an elastic band, and this is the hair. This is the frontal that I'm using, is coily. And I'm also using a bundle of coily weaves. Okay, it doesn't come with the frontal, I got them separately, but they match. I'm using this big comb because I always use a big white tooth comb for the hair. So I'm going to start by placing the frontal on the cap. As you can see, I always move the frontal a bit forward so that the cap is really okay for any size of head. So the first thing I do is I move it forward and then I make sure it is laid in a straight line like what I'm showing you right now in the video. And once it's there, I'll pin this down, then I'll start sewing with my thread and needle, as you can see in the video. So I always start sewing from the middle. You always want to sew from the middle. You don't want to start from the end to the other end. You want to start from the middle to one end and from the middle to the other end. So particularly what I'm doing is I'm pinning this down because this mannequin doesn't have a soft head that I can insert my pinning. I'm just using my needle to hold it to the cap, but if yours is okay, you can pin it down to the mannequin. So I'm going to start sewing from the middle like I said. You can just watch and see exactly what I'm doing. I'm sewing from one end to the other end. You can watch my other videos to see how to sew your tracks neatly and correctly. So just watch and see what I'll do, and I'm going to just fix in this frontal to the cap. Next, I want to go into the hair bundle, so I'm just going to rip off the band that's holding this hair together, and now I'll just start fixing this hair from behind. So I always start from the back and I start with one strand. I don't double the strand at the back because I'm not sure of how full this hair is. So I always use one strand at the back. So you just watch as I start sewing from the back gradually till I get to a point, then I'll move forward and I'll show you how I do that. So before I continue making this wig, I always like to make sure I have secured the front, and by doing this it helps to make sure my frontal is like really flat. When you move it all the way back, there's no bump at the back. So what I do is I lay a single weft of the hair exactly where the frontal ends at the back there, as you can see, and then I begin to sew the two parts together. That means I'm sewing the hair bundle and the frontal together. And to do this, I will insert my needle through the weft of the hair bundle, the weave, to the frontal, and then I'll tie. So you can just see this in the video. I'll put it through, I'll tie this twice, I'll just continue the same thing. So I just shifted the wig a bit to the other side so you can really see what I'm doing. So like I said, practically what I'm doing is I'm joining the two parts together because I want this part really flat. I don't want to have any issue while I'm sewing from the back to the front, and then somehow that part is no longer flat. So I always do that first before I go back and continue making my wig. So you can just watch and see what I'm doing and you would understand how I do this. So I'm done with this, and once you push this hair backward, you can see how flat it will be. That is why I always do this, to make that part really flat. Now I can go back and just continue sewing, and that is exactly what I'll do. I'll just go back, continue sewing from the left to the right, from the left to the right, all the way to the front. Now if you have not watched my video on how to sew your weave, on your wig cap like an expert, you should look for that video. I have that video on my channel, on my playlist. You can find that video and watch that video. That has like a really detailed tutorial of how to sew. So this one is really fast, so just go back to that one and you will learn how to practice your sewing really well. Okay, so this is just showing you how I sew this from the back to the front, from the back to the front, sorry, from the left to the right, all the way to the front. So that's basically what I'm doing here. Okay. As we approach the end of sewing this wig on, you can see that it is like almost completely covered. That is why I always sew one strand at a time, especially for a coily hair. I don't like to double the weft because I want it like really full, and I don't want any part of the wig cap looking scanty or anything like that. And you can see that it is really full. So now it's time for me to create my pattern, and I always love to have like a side pattern. So I'm creating that side pattern. All I'll do is I'll open up a pattern, and then I'll begin to pluck some hair from that line to just create a very visible pattern. And I'll do the same for the center part and the other side. You can decide to do just a normal side pattern if that's what you like. So I'm just plucking the parts for the side pattern basically. So then I'll do the same for the center part as well. As you do this, you want to wet your hair. I'm using a spray bottle to spray just water on it so that I can actually see the part I'm plucking out the hair from really well. Okay, so the water helps me to really get it, like get into it and pluck it and see how the pattern will look like. Okay, so that's why I always spray this with water. Once I'm done with this, I'll turn this outwardly, and then I'll go ahead to cut the part that is covering the lace. You don't want to cut out the elastic band there. As you can see, I did not cut out the elastic band, and I'm also leaving like an inch extra, like an inch of the cap. I'm not cutting so close to where I sewed my frontal. That's what I mean. Now I'm going to take my thread and needle and sew this part where I sewed my frontal from the back to make sure it's really, really, really firm. You can see that in the video. I'm sewing this over again, and when you are sewing this, you want to make sure you are not like sewing the weave underneath, or maybe kind of like tangling it underneath. You want to be really careful while you are sewing this. You just want to sew the cap to the frontal again all the way to the other side. So that's what I'm doing in the video. Once I'm done sewing this, I'll just go ahead and turn my hair back, and then I'll go ahead and pluck more of the frontal. So I'll go into the frontal more. I'll pluck more of the baby hair, but not so much baby hair. I'm really like concentrating on the pattern because I want it really looking really realistic and really clear. But you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to pluck this so much. You can see that once I cut out the wig cap underneath, the pattern is looking really clearer now, if you notice that. So you can add more water to see it clearly, to see the lines better, and just keep plucking till you're satisfied with how it looks. But please do not pluck so much and just ruin your frontal. So now it's time for me to bleach the lace, and we bleach the lace so that it makes the net holes less transparent. And I used a developer and a hair bleach. I use a 13% developer because I don't want it like really bleached. So I'll just apply this mixture on the lace, and I'll just leave this on for like 15 minutes because it's a 13% developer, so it's not going to act so fast. You can leave it for 13 to maybe 25 minutes. But if you're using a 30% developer or 20% developer, you don't want to leave this for too long, maybe just like 10 minutes or so. So I'll apply this everywhere, leave it for a while like I said earlier, and then just wash this off. Hello everybody, so I want to quickly show you a trick that I do. So when I'm working with a client that doesn't know how to use the got-to-be glue to lay the front of their frontal illusion wig, I always fix the rubber band on top of the frontal, and when I tack it on this side, and then I'll go ahead and tack it here on the wig cap itself, and I'll do the same for the other side. I'll do the same here. I'll tack it here and I'll tack it on the wig cap here. So it's like 4 tacking, 1, 2, and 3, 4. I've not done that yet though. So what this will do is that it will stretch out the frontal illusion, the lace wig. It will stretch out the lace at the front, and it's going to lay even without any glue. It's not going to be pulling off. Another thing I do is I always leave this elastic band here, so it will support the firmness of the wig. So this is the hair. I have it on, and I'm not using any glue or got-to-be glue to hold down the frontal. I'm just using the elastic band that I attached to it to hold it down. What is holding this hair down is just the elastic band that I attached and the other elastic band. So you do not have to put on your lace glue before you can wear a frontal illusion wig. So this is a trick that I use for my clients, and they always enjoy their wig. You know, it's firmly in place. I can move around and it's not going to go off. So if you have a client that wants to put on their wig whenever they feel like and just want to know how to do it, this is how to do it. Put your elastic band on this side, and on this side, and on the cap at the back and on the other side. You have to put on the glue or whatever. So I hope this tip helps you whenever you're making another frontal illusion wig, or if you have a frontal illusion wig and you want to just go out without having to put on the glue. Like, you know, I like to come back home and take off my wig. I don't want it stuck on my head or having to go through a process before I take it off. So this is what I do, and it's firm. So I hope this video will help you guys with your next. Thank you all for watching this video. If you have a question, please leave it in the comment section. I'll do well to reply, and you can also like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye bye.